Fucking Al Haymon. We ain't shit. Man, what's your problem? You my fucking problem! People sweat us on the streets, you don't even give a fuck. I think you're exaggerating. That's bullshit, man. We run from Matisse, we run from Postal, we run from old man Herrera in that bullshit style when he come with that bullshit jab. All we do is fucking run. I feel like I'm on the goddamn track team. Yo, big man, you want respect, you gotta earn it. You damn right. You gotta be willing to stand up, bite somebody ear, and die for that shit like Tyson did. If you want some juice. Tyson ain't sticking up to nothing now. This nigga scared. This nigga scared.
What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Now, that clip you guys just heard was a scene from a movie with my favorite rapper of all time, Tupac, called Juice. Hood classic. If you haven't seen it, I recommend it. Good flick from probably like 92. And that was the Ego voiceover edition. Now, I actually dubbed over the movie, but for certain reasons, the YouTube community guidelines, I know them, and they're very strict about copyrighted material, so I couldn't put that. But I put it on my Instagram. I actually dubbed over the actual movie. There's no problems over there. Just can't do it here because I know, again, the YouTube community guidelines. So I can't have anything like that on my YouTube channel. But anyway, it leads me to today's video, what I want to talk about, Danny Garcia. Now, some of you guys are going to be like, oh, Ego, you're hating. Fuck all that. I'm not an emotional fan. I don't make rash decisions based on emotion or how I feel. I have certain beliefs, and I keep it fair across the board, whether you believe that or not. I just got finished praising Danny Garcia because I was under the impression that they reached an agreement and he was going to be fighting Victor Postal. Today, he sends out a tweet saying, up until about a week ago, I didn't even know who Victor Postal is. No offense, no disrespect. I mean, it is kind of disrespectful. Not that you don't necessarily know him, okay, but I find it hard to believe because I've actually made a video about this fight before, and you mean to tell me that somebody that was in a mandatory position for your belt in your division, and you know what I mean, had worked with Manny Pacquiao, Freddie Roach in your fucking division, and had like a stoppage win on the, I believe it was the Marquez versus Alvarado fight. You mean to tell me that a guy in your division, you've just never heard of him till a week ago? Like, come on, man. I feel like some of these, a lot of these young cats get it like that. Floyd Mayweather, like Mayweather be doing that. Like, who's Ronda Rousey? Like, you know what I mean? Who's Anderson Silva? Try to act like he don't know. He can maybe get away with it a little bit because he is pretty big. You know what I mean? Danny Garcia, you're not that fucking big where you don't know competitors in your own division. Like I said, I made a video about this a while ago, so I don't see how someone who was itching for a fight for you in your division, you just have no idea. It's not like some guy who's fighting in Sweden that no one's ever heard of, like he didn't make an American debut, like he's not sparring with Pacquiao. Anyway, he said he don't know the cat, and from what I'm hearing, the fight is not necessarily a given. They're allowed to fight another person in between. Al Haymon found some kind of way to finagle the system, some kind of loophole that stipulates that he could buy some time, basically. So who knows if this fucking fight is going to happen, basically, is what I'm saying. And that's some bullshit, man. I thought it was a good matchup, a good stylistic matchup. You got a tall, rangy boxer type, which has stylistically given Danny Garcia problems in the past. Amir Khan was boxing very well in the first 2 rounds. He has superior speed, but his boxing ability, that in and out, the jab, you know what I mean? That was setting up a lot for Amir Khan earlier till he got caught in the 3rd round. Mauricio Herrera. So I would want to see a fight like, if you're not going to rematch Herrera, at least fight somebody who fights kind of similar, who's your mandatory. And I'm just sick of it, man. I'm sick of the bullshit in boxing, like Al Haymon finding loopholes and extensions and stuff like that. This ain't filing taxes where you can just keep putting it off, and you know what I mean? Fans don't like that. And the absolute worst, I'm not unrealistic in my opinion. I'm not unrealistic. The fact of the matter is you just fought Rod fucking Salka. You said you won 8 rounds to 4 against Mauricio Herrera. Then you bounced back with a KO over Rod Salka, a guy not in your division. I mean, I told you, man. Me and Danny Garcia had our exchange of words or whatever on the net. People aren't going to embrace you like being a lineal champion and not fighting at least some of the best or the best available people. You know what I mean? Rod Salka isn't that. He just purely wasn't the best available competition. You know what I mean? You could have fought Hank Lundy and I would have gave you credit. You know what I mean? You could have fought a Jose, anybody over Rod Salka, you know what I mean, with a decent name. John Molina, anybody. I would have gave you a lot more credit than beating a Rod Salka. If you beat the shit out of John Molina, even though he has showed, that's the homie, but he showed he's a little bit more one-dimensional. He still has power and he's big for his division. So, you know what I mean? I would still give you more praise and credit than knocking out a guy who was outmatched before the bell even rang. You know what I mean? So I'm sick of it, man. And there's so many double standards in boxing. You get guys like Pacquiao, Mayweather particularly for this example. He has, let's say, Edeslandi Lara, a division he's not even necessarily a permanent resident. I don't agree that he should hold up a belt and hold it hostage, either relinquish the belt or fight somebody at 154. I'm cool with that. But fans hate him so much where they'll be like, oh, Edeslandi Lara is his mandatory, he's not fighting him. Pacquiao like got knocked out and then all of a sudden was elevated to the mandatory, and then Mayweather said dumb bullshit about giving up the belt or some shit, and then people are like, oh, he's not willing to fight his mandatory, or Keith Thurman's his mandatory, he's not willing to fight him. And like it or not, Mayweather is in a more privileged position than Danny Garcia just because he's been doing it longer, longevity, he's fought more champions, he's accomplished more, you know what I mean? And he is the highest earner in the sport. So not that it's right, but this is boxing politics. There is an A side, you know what I'm saying? Just the same as Miguel Cotto was the A side against Sergio Martinez. It just is what it is. Oscar De La Hoya has been the A side in plenty of affairs, you know what I mean? But Danny Garcia to me is a young rising star who's kind of like was working up to that crescendo. You're not there yet, you know what I mean? You haven't accomplished what Pacquiao or Eric Morales even accomplished, you know what I mean? Guys like that, Mayweather, you haven't accomplished that. Timothy Bradley has accomplished, in my opinion, more than Danny Garcia. And I like Danny Garcia. He's a hell of a fighter. He's been the underdog and he fought like a true champion. But again, fair is fair. Some of you guys attack Mayweather for not fighting his mandatories, even when he's in a little bit different position to, I guess, pick and choose or whatever. And then Danny Garcia fights like a guy like Rod Salka, and then him and his management, his promoter, find a way to finagle out of a good competitive fight with Victor Postal. And I guarantee you this, whether you like what I just said or not about Mayweather in recent memory has never fought somebody who was ranked as shitty and as low as Rod Salka in his respective division. Period. You know what I'm saying? Even Chris Algier, anything. Like, I'm not too keen on that particular fight. That's still a better fight for Manny Pacquiao. Rod Salka is literally top 3, probably number 1 of 2014 worst potential mismatches, because you have the lineal champion. You know what I mean? Even the fight with Ruslan Provodnikov versus Castillo. Do I want to see it? Hell no. Is it a good fight? Hell no. But it's not worse because Ruslan Provodnikov is technically coming off of a loss, which could have taken some confidence. He no longer has the belt, and now he has to get back right. You know what I mean? Castillo is taller. I don't think it's going to be a competitive fight, but it's still a better fight because of the circumstance. Ruslan's off of a loss. Castillo is off of wins. Now, they're not monumental wins, but they're still wins. Danny Garcia was the lineal champion, and according to him, he won 8 rounds to 4. So there was no reason to have fought Rod Salka. Now you pull this shit and you're like, oh, I never heard of this Postal guy. Like, how do you not know people in your division that are your mandatories? And again, using the Mayweather, some of you guys hate him. Just think about this. If Mayweather fights Marcos Maidana, it's a cherry pick to some of you guys. Even though he was champion, beat the shit out of Adrian Broner, it's a cherry pick, right? If Mayweather fought his mandatory interim champion, interim belt holder at the time, Robert Guerrero, who had 2 solid performances at welterweight, it's a cherry pick, right? Danny Garcia, you're the lineal champ. You said you won your last fight 8 rounds. Then you come back and fight a guy ranked in the lower division with less than 10 KOs, no punching power, no notable names or anything, and that's what you send a tweet like, oh, I ain't heard of this Postal dude, he has no notable names. What the fuck did Rod Salka have? Anyway, Rod Salka was ranked number 77 in the lower division than you. Mayweather's never done that. Pacquiao has never done that. So you can bring up, oh, Pacquiao does catch weights or whatever. So this is just flagrantly disrespectful. You know what I mean? Hopefully they make a good fight. I don't know who they're if he takes on a tough challenger that's better than Victor Postal, then that's one thing. So I guess I have to wait and see who his voluntary defense is going to be against. But it better not be some bullshit, man, because Victor Postal, and I don't even want it to be certain people, because Postal has the style that could trouble Danny Garcia. The height, the range, the boxing ability. So I don't want to see Danny Garcia in against a mauling, one-dimensional slugger. You know what I'm saying? I want to see him in with, you don't want to match Herrera, even though he's looking for an opponent. You don't want to rematch him. At least fight someone with a similar style to show your progress, your growth, what you learned from the Herrera experience. Anyway, I'm out. That's all I got to say about this situation. Let me know what you guys think of Danny Garcia's recent attitude and comments. Make sure you like my video as always. Hate, comment, or subscribe. Till next video is Ego signing off.